Welcome to Sports Talk with RKJ. I'm here with my co-host Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli. And the NFL is starting. We're getting close to the NFL season, and we got a big news in Dallas where Dak Prescott turned down a deal that would give him $30 million a year, and now he's seeking $40 million a year, which is a little bit ridiculous. Because if you look at Dak Prescott, he's not. You could argue he's not even a top 15 quarterback. Yes, he had that one season where he went 13-3, but if you look at that season, the Cowboys had the best offensive line in football. They had a top running back in Ezekiel Elliott. Des Bryant was still pretty good. Jason Witten was still pretty good. Since then, you look at his record, he's a little bit over 500. You look at the season after that, the Cowboys went 9-7, and you saw flaws from Dak Prescott, especially when Ezekiel Elliott was out in that 6-game stretch. He had almost had as many touchdowns as interceptions in that 6-game stretch. And then last year, before Amari Cooper got there, the team was 3-4 and very, very pedestrian on offense. So Dak Prescott, he's not being very self-aware at all, wanting a $30 million contract, especially looking at the Cowboys' contract situation. They still got to pay Amari Cooper. They still got to pay Ezekiel Elliott. They also still got to pay Jalen Smith. And Cooper and Jalen Smith are all going to be free agents next year. So
and Byron Jones.
And good point. And Byron Jones too who's a pretty good corner as well. So they have a lot of contracts that are expiring after the season. And this is not Dak Prescott is not being self-aware at all, wanting this kind of money. I mean, and I think if the Cowboys make this trade, they're going to be an 8-8, 9-7 team for the next 5 to 10 years.
The thing is, Dak Prescott never seemed like that guy that's all about the money and all that. Like, I never got that kind of vibe from him, but now it seems like he is. And if even I don't think that Dallas should not pay him $40 million. I don't know if that Jerry Jones, who knows?
There's maybe 2-3 quarterbacks in the NFL that should get 40.
Yeah,
he ain't one.
And if he's getting 40, what's like a Aaron,
what's Mahomes gonna get?
Yeah, what's Mahomes gonna want?
Mahomes will be getting 50.
Yeah, so
RIP that cap.
There's no way he should be getting $40 million. They were, and the thing is too, because last year, I can't wait to see if they don't have Ezekiel on the field, and Dak is just gonna get exposed. I used to like Dak, but after this, it's like, dude, you're crazy if you want $40 million. They were last year in red zone efficiency. You saw how they ran the ball against the 49ers the other night. They don't have another running back behind Zeke. They were not great running last week.
And the 49ers had their backups in too.
Yeah, they think.
Don't they have Mike Weber from Ohio State? Didn't they draft him?
They got Poland from Memphis. That's what they got.
I think he had 6 carries for 24 yards, something like that. Maybe not even 24 yards. So they need Ezekiel Elliott. If you're Dallas, I wouldn't even I know quarterback situation would be tough then. It's a good draft class coming up in the draft. I don't know, maybe, but I'd rather pay at this point a Zeke, a Cooper, a Jalen Smith, Byron Jones. If you want $40 million, just I don't know. I wouldn't pay him.
Yes, Mike Weber was drafted by the Cowboys in the 7th round. Anyway, the problem with that contract is that the Cowboys, if they did this contract earlier, like last season, they probably could have got him for less. Probably could have got maybe 25 to 30. Problem is, I believe if he gets franchise tagged, he's going to make 30. So if you're thinking from his point of view, one, he's already that hometown discount. If you're him, your arguing point is, I've already taken a hometown discount. It's called my rookie contract. He outplayed that contract to an insane level. Now, is he elite? No. But you're also thinking Carson Wentz. Like, if you compare like his stats to Carson Wentz, and obviously I think we can all agree Carson Wentz better talent.
He's a better quarterback. Yeah. Yes.
But right now, his stats for the most part are better. His record, I think over the past 3 years, the only quarterback that's won more is Brady.
It is Tom Brady who's won more.
Yeah. So, that's his argument points. But then if you're the Cowboy and Jerry Jones's argument point is like, dude, we understand. Like, we like you as a quarterback because he's kind of like that guy. He's not elite, but he's not a game manager. I kind of see him as a guy that game manager that can come up big on 3rd downs and in kind of clutch situations. Although he needs to do that. Their argument points are going to be, listen, we want to keep a team around you. If you take slightly less, we're going to be able to pay guys like Zeke, like Cooper, Jalen Smith, Byron Jones down the line, Van Der Esch, maybe like 4 or 5 years. But, you need to, You need to give us a little to get back, like kind of like how Brady has. So it's kind of, you're pulling back and forth. So he is probably arguing, this is what Carson Wentz's contract is. I want that minimum. That's what I want. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Yes, but here's the thing: you could probably name. I can name at least 13 quarterbacks that are better than Dak Prescott. I can name right now: Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Breeze, Luck, Wilson, Rivers, Watson, Wentz, Cam, Ryan, Big Ben, and Goff. That's 13 right there. That's right there. And then you can make the arguments for even Kirk. You can make the arguments for Jimmy Garoppolo when healthy. You can make an argument for Kirk Cousins,
Derek Carr.
No, I wouldn't go Derek Carr, but you could make an argument. You can make an argument for Kirk Cousins in early kickoffs. He plays really well. Yes, in the big games, Kirk Cousins isn't good at all. But you can make that argument. You could even make an argument for Nick Foles. I mean, Nick Foles in the postseason the last 2 years, he's been really good. And also, I think eventually Baker and Darnold are going to be better than Dak Prescott. So I think after this year, I think he's definitely not going to be a top 15 quarterback in the league.
Well, the thing is, with come contract time, it's whoever gets the most money. It's literally just off of who's next up. That's the thing, because you can't go off based off of like who gets the most money, who's the best quarterback. Because obviously, like someone like Brady, Mahomes, like those guys, they're getting paid. Although Mahomes on a rookie contract, they're not getting paid the most. It's just, unfortunately, who's next man up?
Yes, Kyle, I know who's next man up, but Dak is not on the same level as Carson Wentz. I don't think he's on the same level as Matt Ryan. He's definitely not on the same level as Mahomes or Wilson. He's not on that level. So he's not on. He's like a tier 2, below tier 2, high tier 3 quarterback. I mean, he doesn't push the ball down the field. He doesn't turn. His intangibles are really good. I'll give you that, but he doesn't push the ball down the field, and he's not the most accurate guy. If you watch that Cowboy-Eagle game last year, he kept the Eagles in that game. If he didn't make mistakes in that Cowboy-Eagle game, the Cowboys would have blown the Eagles out in that game. He kept the Eagles in that game in the first half, in that game in December last year. So he's a good to above average quarterback. He's not as good as Tony Romo. He's a good to above average quarterback. He just had a great team around him in 2016. That's why he went 13-3. Once Tyron Smith is worn down, he didn't have Travis Frederick all year last year. The games he didn't have Zeke, and the games he didn't really have a legitimate one at the beginning of the year last year too. He didn't play as well. He's arguably not a top 15 quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, I would agree with that, but then you got to also think his other arguing point that I didn't mention is that, let's say, so he decides to walk after this year. The Cowboys, then you got to find a quarterback. Who are you going to draft at that spot? Because they're not going to finish high enough to get obviously Tua from Justin Herbert
Herbert,
from Oregon. So who are you going to get? That's a good
point. That's a good point.
Or you got to try to trade up, and how much you willing to lose in assets. So that's where you're kind of. Yes, you might be having to overpay for him, and I think we can all agree he will end up getting overpaid if he gets that contract. But then you got to find another quarterback, and then down the line, how is that going to work out? Because what you have in Dak, but if you got to go and look out for a quarterback, what are you hoping that some team decides to trade you a top pick and get one of those top 3 quarterbacks, or maybe some guy that pops, this year and ends up becoming a higher pick,
or maybe Josh Rosen.
Yeah, or Josh Rosen for third team in 3 years. So that's kind of it. That's why I'd say it's a lose-lose situation, because you're gonna have to overpay him. But then if you don't pay him and then he walks, who's their backup right now? That's the thing. Like you can't name them. That's the issue. Yeah. You have no idea. So it's like
Cooper Rush. That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's their backup. Yeah.
Poor guys. But that's why it's such a lose-lose situation. You lose him, you're back at square one, and then you're wasting like the start of the prime years for Byron Jones, Jalen, Van Der Esch, Zeke, running backs. Well, most people believe only have a certain amount of miles on them from the beginning. So how much you willing to waste? It's cat and mouse.
Exactly. So we're going to move on to Antonio Brown and his helmet situation, which was pretty crazy. Yes, the feet's no joke. He's legitimately hurt there. You heard Gruden on Hard Knocks last night. He's legitimately hurt there. But this helmet
through his own doing.
Yeah, I know.
It's called shoes.
Yeah, but this helmet situation is a little crazy, and it shows you that Antonio Brown is the biggest diva in the NFL. To even contemplate quitting football over a helmet is absolutely crazy. I mean, this guy used to be one of the top receivers in the league.
I think he still is.
I think he still is. But he became a major diva in Pittsburgh last year. There's a reason the Raiders only got the Steelers only got a third-round pick for him. I mean, this guy's turning into a major diva. Yeah, now the helmet situation. Yes, he's back at camp now, but even the fact he contemplated quitting football because of a helmet is just crazy.
It's just plain dumb. I don't know. You know, everybody had to make the change. It's not like the NFL's just calling him out saying he's the only one. Everybody's had to change it.
Yeah, Brady had to.
Yeah, you know, everybody's had to change their helmet. And and I know he said he's tried every helmet, and it's just he doesn't see the ball well enough when he's catcher. You know, like all the wide receivers are wearing like the same helmet you are. So if that's true, then they're all having the same problems that you are. But just tough, and and it seemed crazy that he was actually gonna quit over this, and it just seemed kind of like, is he really but I guess he thought like, oh, if I say I'm gonna quit, maybe the NFL will just give in or something. It's pretty crazy. I didn't get the chance to watch all that Hard Knocks last night, but I'll go home and watch it later. But it's just crazy, and I guess for the Raiders standpoint, and I'm surprised, and for the Raiders too, that they were actually on his side about all this too. They kind of had to, I think, or Brown would have called them all.
Behind the scenes, they're probably, like really mad at him and. Like, legitimately, like, kind of talking in private, like, dude, really? Like, you're a veteran in this league. You got to be a leader of this team. Leaders don't do this. Like, and take Brady's case. He had, has to find a new helmet. He said he doesn't like the helmet, but what can he do about it? That's literally, you have to have that mindset, Antonio Brown. Like, I understand wide receivers tend to be divas. I understand that. But a helmet, dude? Like, come on. Like, you are, I think, probably like a top 3 wide receiver in this league right now. The dude is super talented and do everything. The only thing holding him back, if you want to say it, is his height, but he knows how to work around that. Dude has hands. Dude has speed. Dude has route running. Everything. Why? It's a helmet. It's not that serious. Yeah. Like, you gotta be kidding me. You need to be in there figuring out like chemistry with everyone, whether it's chemistry with Derek Carr or chemistry with the other new wide receiver Tyrell Williams and all that. You need to start working on chemistry with the whole offense, learning the playbook, learning little ins and outs, maybe how Derek Carr likes to throw one route, how Derek Carr likes to throw another route, and all that. You need to start like building that. And the fact that you're not there, why? It's a helmet. Yeah. Get there, get to camp, work. Come on.
Exactly. So now, here's something that's not a surprise to really anyone. Andrew Luck is hurt again. And yes, the Colts were my favorite to go to the Super Bowl. And Andrew Luck now, they were talking about his calf injury. Now he has a high ankle problem, which could sideline for opening day against the Chargers. It's definitely going to sideline him for the entire preseason. It could sideline him for the season opener against the Chargers. And I was listening to the Will Kane show yesterday. It could sideline him for the first 3 games of the season. If you look at the Colts' first 3 games, they're at the Chargers. Yeah, it's not a great home field advantage, but still. A playoff contending team they're facing.
Well, with the 2 great pass rushers, too.
Yeah, and that could be a huge game, too, for maybe a wild card spot.
You never know. Yeah. And then you look at week 2, they go to Tennessee. Yeah, I don't think Tennessee's going to be that good of a team, but they're still on the road in the division. And then week 3, they play the Falcons at home. So imagine if he doesn't play and they start 0-3. That's almost season over right there. So it's going to be really interesting to see what ends up happening here. He's not going to play for the preseason. He really hasn't practiced that much either. So it's just the same story for the Colts is Luck's health. Durability has just been a huge issue for Andrew Luck. And yes, he was taken number 1 overall, but durability has just been a huge issue for this quarterback.
Yeah, it's been his kryptonite because when he's on the field, he's been great. And he's, we saw last year when he was there, got in the playoffs, and he played really, really well. And now it's just another injury. It's been the shoulder. Now it's the ankle, calf. It's crazy. And those first 3 games are tough, and they could definitely, because that AFC South, too, is going to be such a tough division where all 4 of those teams could possibly maybe, could be battling for a playoff spot week 15, 16, or 17. So, going to Tennessee is going to be a tough one. Atlanta at home is going to be very tough, playing Matt Ryan in a dome.
And don't forget, week 5, they go to Kansas City.
that's going to be tough even with Andrew Luck. That's going to be a tough game to win. So they're really going to need him back as soon as possible because you really don't want to start 0-3, 1-2. But it's worrisome because it's, Andrew Luck's always his injuries have kind of really have gone longer than they anticipate too. So he possibly could be out for a little bit longer. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out longer than maybe after week 3 or something.
And with that Tennessee game, even though they might not be the best team in AFC, they're a physical team, especially on defense. So you're facing good pass rush, with Tennessee. You're facing a great pass rush with the Chargers. On paper, probably a pretty good pass rush with the Chiefs. We'll see how Frank Clark now fits in there. But that's rough because if you're what's always held Luck back, I feel like, from being mentioned as an elite quarterback is health, and because everyone says your best ability is availability, and he is constantly past 3-4 years he's hurt, whether it's one injury and then the other injury, now this injury, and a high ankle sprain might be one of the worst injuries you can get, other than maybe something tearing or a broken bone, because that seems to linger. It doesn't. It's like, okay, wait 4 weeks, it's going to be ready. It's like you got to baby it back. And in football, babying something don't work. You got to go full bore. And with that not working, they don't have him. Obviously, they're done. They have no shot of doing anything. And then what's going to be worse? Even if let's say he does play, come regular season, is he going to be 100% healthy? And also with him, especially someone like Paris Campbell, who isn't, honestly, he's like a gadget player, but he's like in the middle of like being a gadget player and like a true like wide receiver. You want to build chemistry with him. You want to see how that's going to work out. You want to see if Eric Ebron, if that was kind of like a 1-year deal, or is he actually, kind of that, they're going to be that tight end. You got to see that works out.
Listen, with Jacoby Brissett, Eric Ebron will not have close to the amount of touchdowns he had last year with Andrew Luck. But here's the difference between Andrew Luck being out in 2017 and Andrew Luck being out now. You have a different head coach in Frank Wright, so that's going to help Jacoby Brissett if he has to play. Mm-hmm. You also have definitely a better offensive line now. You have Quentin Nelson. You have Mark Golinski. You got Brandon Smith. You've added to that offensive line. And also on the defensive side of the ball, that defense in 2017 was terrible. Now you have Darius Leonard, who's an All-Pro on that defense. D'Amico Autry. You even brought Justin Houston in this year. So that defense isn't is better. The offense is definitely better with an offensive-minded head coach, and you add an All-Pro like Quentin Nelson onto that offense. So I don't think they're going to be at 4-12 bad, but I would say if Andrew Luck doesn't play, I think they would be around I'd say I picked them to be 13-3 with Andrew Luck. I'd say they're around 8-8, 7-9 without Andrew Luck.
Yeah. And this, I feel like, is maybe the first season where they're truly thought of as Super Bowl.
They're my pick
since Manning was there.
Yeah, they're my pick to go to the Super Bowl. They're my pick to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl this year. With Andrew Luck healthy, they're my pick to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I wouldn't agree with that, but I could understand why people pick that, because they're definitely, a contender. That's no doubt, especially with Luck healthy. They have to be, because they have, especially when them getting Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard, that might be one of the better drafts. Period. That's of all time. You got Hall of Fame talent in Quentin Nelson, and people were saying that from the get-go. And Darius Leonard all of a sudden came out, and everyone's like, "What?" And you see what he does.
They drafted 2 All-Pros right there.
That's insane to get that in. Well, it was first round pick Quentin Nelson, and wasn't Darius Leonard second round, if I'm not?
Second round pick, yeah.
And that's an insane period. And then you add that to someone of the caliber of Luck's talent. You add T.Y., who might be one of the more underrated receivers, because people don't really talk about him, but the dude puts up numbers, and dude's good. Then you add someone like Paris Campbell. You have a solid run game. Your defense is getting better. You're kind of building thing. And then Frank Wright, he just seems to have something about him that just it works. It works. He obviously knows what he's doing. And then with that, you just shoots him right up there with the Patriots, the Chiefs, Chargers. You want to throw them in there and all that. So without Luck, good luck. They're not doing a single thing without him.
They won 9 of their last 10 in the regular season, and they won a playoff games. They won 10 out of 11 games last year after they started 1-5.
Yeah, because I remember when the Patriots ended up playing them, the Colts kind of made a little bit of a comeback, and then I think that put them down at 1-5 or 1-4, something like that. And I'm thinking, damn, this team kind of had some promise. What happened? Then all of a sudden, end of the year pops up, their wild card game with the Chiefs.
Yeah. And they beat the Texans in the division run against the Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, what happened though? Like, where did you guys come from? Then all of a sudden, see, Darius Leonard's winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. Quentin Nelson probably could have won Offensive Rookie of the Year, but they're
not going to pick a guard.
They're never going to give it to.
They're not going to give it to a guard. Obviously.
Yeah, never. Yeah. They're never going to. He probably was the best rookie. That dude's ridiculously good, but
Joe would argue there with you, but I could agree that Nelson is as good as Barkley. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, AFC wise, but it's insane because when you have the level of talent that the AFC has, because I think you have 4 legitimate Super Bowl contenders, then you have maybe another handful of maybe 4 to 6.
I think you go with the Chiefs, the Patriots.
Yeah,
the Chiefs, Patriots, and I think you guys want to say the Chargers, but the problem with me at the Chargers is Gordon's holdout and Rivers' age.
Yeah, I'll just say Chargers are elite for the sole fact. Obviously, Rivers has been in the league for forever, and then just that talent on that team. There's no way you can't be a Super Bowl contender on paper, because based on the on paper talent. But then I think you have another 4 to 6 teams that you can argue that aren't elite teams, but are going to be teams that are going to be very annoying.
Like a Houston.
Like
a Pittsburgh, a Cleveland.
Pittsburgh.
Even the Jets with Darnold this year. Yeah.
I think possibly if you face them in Baltimore.
But I don't think the Ravens will be as good. They lost 4 starters on defense. Lamar's proven he can be a pocket passer.
In Baltimore, though, because in Baltimore, it's one of those things where they just play a little differently.
And I think going to Oakland this year is probably tough with their final year. I think that's always going to be a tough game.
Yeah, but Justin, they have no defense.
They don't, but
yeah.
I don't know. Finally,
Yeah, but there's a good handful of teams, so and it seems like this year, the AFC, you fall behind early. Good luck. No pun intended, seriously. But good luck, Colts.
Yes. So we'll talk about a couple guys that have not reported to camp. We'll start with Trent Williams and his situation. And you even heard Adrian Peterson yesterday saying this is really hurting the quarterback's development. I mean, right now Colt McCoy is the starter for the Redskins. There's pretty much an open competition between him, Case Keenum, and Dwayne Haskins. And even Adrian Peterson said yesterday, Trent Williams not being in camp is really throwing things out of whack for the Redskins. And the Redskins, then he wants to be traded, but the Redskins don't want to trade him, and they're not listening to offers right now. At this point, if you're the Redskins, you've had this guy on your team for a while. He doesn't want to be there. I think to improve your team around Dwayne Haskins, because he is the future of your team, you got to listen to offers now. If you can get one for Trent Williams, a guy who hasn't played he's one of the top left tackles in the league, but let's not forget he hasn't played a full season since 2013. So if you can get a first round pick for Trent Williams, you got to end up taking it.
Yeah, you have to, because it really sounds like Trent Williams is not going to wear the Redskins jersey ever again. It sounds like he does not want to play for him.
I know I wouldn't.
It's and I forgot who you were saying what you sent in our group chat the other day. That guy,
it was Sua Cravens, where he had, I want to say it was like a concussion or some injury, and he felt like it was misdiagnosed. And then they put him on some exemplist or something during the year, and then they were like kind of holding back like his pay and trying to like get paid back in a way, but then they were also like trying to like something kind of a little shady with like his insurance and all that, and then all around just kind of not really supporting the guy, and then just kind of like, oh, you have the injury, oh, we don't really believe you, we're kind of leaving you out on an island type situation. It's like, it's just, and then you add that to the Trent Williams thing and all that. It's like, why do you want to be around the Washington?
I would. It sounds like such a dysfunctional organization. They just need to fire everybody. They just need to restart the whole front office or whatever. But I think
the problem is it's the owner. That's the issue, and there's no way you're gonna be like, yeah, let's get another owner.
That owner makes Jerry Jones look like a genius.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather if you ask me 10 out of 10 times, give me Jerry Jones as my owner or Daniel Snyder, give me Jerry Jones.
Yeah. And they haven't been to the conference championship game in 25 years, but you're definitely taking Jerry Jones over Daniel Snyder any day of the week.
Problem, it's like it all kind of started. Well, I'm gonna say it started because it's been going on for a while, but kind of leading up with the Sua Craven thing. That was more behind the scenes thing for a while, but I think it kind of started with like the Kirk Cousins and RG3 thing, where they drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks in the same draft. Why? Yeah. And then they didn't want, if I'm not mistaken, Shanahan didn't want RG3. And then you draft Kirk Cousins, which you kind of wanted more. So it's kind of like you trade all this stuff for a quarterback you didn't really want. So that doesn't make sense. Then he gets hurt. You put Kirk Cousins in. He kind of plays good enough. RG3, his injuries happen. Then Kirk Cousins plays. He plays, relatively good. And then you decide to franchise tag him for 2 years, which, okay. And then you don't get, if I'm not mistaken, they got literally nothing for that guy. And then you're drafting a quarterback when Julian Haskins, I think, could be good. He ain't going to be good in Washington because no one would be, at all, especially with that talentless team that they have. And now you had Trent Williams' problem and then the Stuart Cravens thing coming out. Why would you want to play for that team? Period. I mean, they have talented running backs. The receivers are kind of
receivers are terrible. The receivers are awful.
Josh
Johnson is a complete bust. Paul Richardson is a below average receiver. Their receivers are absolutely terrible.
I mean, you got solid tight ends. Vernon Davis is a little bit past his prime.
Bro, Vernon Davis is totally past his prime, okay?
He can give you something at least. I mean, I'll take him on my team.
Yeah, they got players like Adrian Peterson and Vernon Davis who are past their primes.
Yeah, they're getting that early 2000s all-decade team, but 15 years later. And then you have Jordan Reed, who is one of the better tight ends when healthy. Who knows when that is because it ain't often. But it's a mess because you have the Eagles who have all their stuff together. You have the Cowboys who have their stuff together to an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent.
But luckily for the Redskins, they got the Giants who don't have their stuff together now.
Or at least we're not the worst team in the NFC, although they probably will be. But it's a mess because the problem that's a rebuilding thing that's going to take years at this point because you got your quarterback, but you don't want to have a situation where you have no talent around him where in 2-3 years because he's getting beat up the whole time you ruin his confidence and you're back to square one with the quarterback. And because we know in the NFL, if you don't have a quarterback, your team's not doing a single thing. This ain't like 2000 Ravens. We have Trent Dilfer
or 02 Bucks
or the
02 Buccaneers with Brad Johnson.
06 Bears making it with Rex
Grossman. Yeah,
disgusting, just absolutely disgusting. That ain't this NFL now. You need a quarterback. Good luck with that.
Yes. So we'll talk about the Giants and Golden Tate, whose 4-game suspension got upheld, and the Giants are very, very thin at the wide receiver position. Shepard's hurt, Tate's suspended. They're going to have guys like Cody Latimer, Benny Fowler, Russell Shepard, Darius Slayton. Those guys really got to step up. Yeah,
those are the starters for
those are the starters. Say that Shepard and Tate are out opening day. Yeah, Latimer, Benny Fowler, and Russell Shepard and Darius Slayton will be the starting wide receivers.
I might draft Saquon Barkley first overall if I get the pick now.
Yeah,
he might get 50 touches in the first.
He might be. He might. They're probably going to throw the ball to him a lot too.
You can't blame Eli a lot with his wide receiver core. I'm because there could be some.
But you could blame the Giants organization.
Yeah,
for going out and signing Golden Tate, who's suspended for 4 games. Okay, you
can
definitely blame the organization.
Did they know about that before?
No, they didn't. But now you trade OBJ and now you bring in Golden Tate. Now he's not going to be there the first 4 games of the season. What happens if you start 1-3 or 0-4? Your season, if you start 0-4, your season's done 4 games into the year before even Golden Tate steps on the field.
Contract like a 3 or 4 year deal.
It's 4 years, 4 years, $36 million. So
and it was like what?
I know. And he didn't have a great year in Philly last year with the Eagles last year. Yes, he caught that touchdown pass to that game-winning touchdown against the Bears, but still, he was not that good in Philly last year. He's
one of those guys that would come up. He's not going to give you like 1,000-yard season, but he can come clutch in big situations. Probably Giants ain't going to be in big situations.
Yeah, your first 4 games in Dallas. That's probably lost right there.
I wouldn't say probably, but there's a good chance of it.
Home against the Bills.
That's 50-50. That's a 50-50 game. Buffalo's better defensively.
In Tampa,
winnable. They might be able to win that one.
And home against Washington.
That's a favorable schedule. Looking at what they have in the middle of November, early December, where they got to play the Jets. They got to go to Chicago. They got to play Green Bay, and then they got to go to Philadelphia. That's brutal. That could be 4 losses right there. That's a brutal stretch right there. So the opening stretch is a manageable stretch, but the problem is when you might not have Sterling Shepard for half those games, and you might not even have Golden Tate. So the Giants could be in huge trouble. And you know that if Eli starts to struggle after the game Daniel Jones had on Thursday, the fans are going to want Daniel Jones immediately in there, even before he's not even ready.
And then you got to worry about Barkley's health with that wide receiver core. It's like you're just going to get Barkley, if he's getting 20, 30 touches, running the ball, receiving the ball, what's his health going to be like at the end of the season? He may be worn down.
He's going to be we might as well put him in a bubble because he's going to be hurt so much or getting hit so much in the possibility of injuries. But that schedule, honestly, I could see them going starting off 2-2, which is a lot better than what should happen. But it's just I don't understand what the Giants. You trade OBJ. Not really in favor of that. If I was a Giants fan, you get Golden Tate for that contract. Really not in favor of that. If I was a Giants fan, you have Sterling Shepard, who's a solid 2. It feels like a good 3. Golden Tate could be kind of at the same boat. Solid 2, good 3. You have Evan Ingram, who's one of the more physically gifted tight ends.
He's got some upside, but if he's got to catch the ball consistently.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have one of the most physically gifted tight ends. You have one of the most physically, I think you could say the most physically gifted running back currently in the league, but your quarterback position is kind of non-existent. Your wide receivers are relatively
offensive line is improved. It's not great, but it's improved because they went out and got Kevin Zeitler, went out and got Mike Remmers. It's improved, but it's still not great. And John Jalapeno is healthy now at center, so it's better, but it's not great either. And we all know about their defense. Their defense is a major question mark.
Yeah, and that's the one saving grace. The O-line for the rookie quarterback is, since it's not, I wouldn't say it's not terrible, but it's definitely not elite. It's kind of in the middle, so he shouldn't be getting hit a terrible amount. Like, let's say someone kind of like a Dwayne Haskins in Washington. So I don't know. It's kind of like good, good luck with that. But again, it's the NFC. You're going to be battling for having a top pick. Obviously, you're not going to draft a quarterback because you just drafted one, unless you want to pull a Cardinals. But I don't know. It's going to be Strugglesville all around.
Yes, I agree there. So we're going to go over the preseason. We'll now preview week 2 of the preseason. We'll start with the Eagles and the Jaguars, who play on Thursday night. And Nick Foles won't play in this game. And really, in week 1, both teams didn't play many starters at all. I think these teams will play more starters this week. You expect maybe Carson Wentz. I don't know if Carson Wentz is even going to play either because they don't want to get him hurt either. But you think week 2 of the preseason you might see more starters in the game. That I think that could be interesting.
Like a couple of drives.
Yeah, for a couple. I think for about a quarter. Usually, if the starters play, it'll be for about a quarter in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably not going to see. Usually, it's week 3 where you see the stars really start.
Yeah, they play probably like half the game, maybe into the third, depending.
Yeah, because I know when the Eagles too, they lost Nate Sudfeld, broke his arm, I think. So so we'll see. Who the Eagles go after. Who wins that backup quarterback job. That's pretty much the only really big interesting thing about this game. I really think.
I would like to see if Miles Sanders plays at all.
He played a lot. He played a little bit last week.
I would kind of like to see if, I'm a Eagles fan, I want to see kind of what we're getting from him because actually I think Jordan Howard's going to be the starter.
But it's going to be done by committee though. The Eagles will have Howard and Sanders be the running backs, and Clement be that running back on third down to catch balls out of the backfield.
Yeah, and I think Sanders he kind of obviously doesn't have the gifts of Saquon, but from being at Penn State, he kind of learned from him. Kind of like an apprenticeship in a way, but. Again, if you're the Eagles, you're not going to be playing Monsters. You're for sure not playing Carson Wentz, especially after maybe 0.1 chance of that happening. Once you're back a quarterback, you'll be like, we're good. Yeah. We're not playing Carson Wentz. Yeah, you're not going to see many starters. Maybe see some starters maybe from like the secondary to see if what you're going to do with certain starters because the secondary wasn't great last year. But then for Jacksonville, you're not going to see many starters either. So, again, mostly backups.
Yes. The Jets travel down to Atlanta to play the Falcons. Sam Darnold played a series last week, looked really good. I think you're going to see more of Sam Darnold this week. And you didn't see any of Matt Ryan last week against the Dolphins. I think you see a little bit more. I think you definitely see Matt Ryan this week against the Jets. And it'll be interesting because you'll see a little bit more starters play between these two teams.
Yeah, you wonder if maybe Le'Veon Bell will get a few carries. I don't know.
Le'Veon Bell says he doesn't need any preseason reps, which I think is a little ridiculous after he hasn't played in a year.
Yeah, I think he's got to get a little bit of that rust off before week 1, but
he has to play week 3.
Yeah, he's got to get some of that rust off. Atlanta, Matt Ryan's probably play about a quarter. That's really about it. Darnold, looked pretty good last week. We'll see how much more they give him this week. So, let's see if the Falcon fan make a big deal if their backup goes down the field on the Jets second team.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, let's go. Take out Matt Ryan. But yeah, I think one thing if you're the Jets, you want to see Quentin Williams more, see what he can give you because on paper, Jets actually have a relatively good front seven. Now,
the closer you get to the ball, their defense is better. They got to get more of a pass rush, but
their corners
the farther away from the ball, it gets weak. And I was reading
yesterday that Jamal Adams
would be open to playing corner if the Jets were thin there, which I don't think is good because he's a great safety. How is he going to convert? He
would be terrible.
I don't know how he would be as a corner. I mean, he hasn't played. He didn't play corner in college. He's one of the top safeties in the league. I think he needs to stick. He needs to just continue to play safety.
Yeah, you don't. The only real reason you ever switch positions like that is if it's not working at your first spot. And for Jamal Adams, it for sure is working at his first spot. That dude is a insanely good safety. You don't mess with that. Like that's a no-go, no-touch situation. But I don't know. For the Jets, you like to see Darnold play, maybe another series or two, a little something. Actually, like I said, Quinn Williams you want to see. But if you're the Falcons again, I'm trying to rest starters as much as possible because I don't want to go through another last year.
No, where they had a ton of injuries, and
especially
it really
on
hurt
defense.
that team.
It was like you name a starter.
Yeah, Deion
on
Jones.
Defense.
Deion Jones hurt. Keanu Neal out for most of the year.
Then was it Ricardo Allen?
Grady Jarrett
too?
was out. Yeah, Ricardo Allen too. Grady Jarrett was out for a couple of games as well.
Yeah, you gotta hope that's so. If I'm them, I'm limiting all starters until like the third preseason game, like maybe playing them like a half. But till then, I'm not playing much.
Bengals head to Washington to play the to play the Redskins, and at Bengals, the game against the Chiefs, first team offense played, went down the field, scored. First team defense, Mahomes obviously got a touchdown against them. Their defense isn't very good, so I mean, I think Dalton will play more. I think you'll see a little bit more of Dalton, a little bit more of Joe Mixon. Obviously, A.J. Green will be out. So, and then for the Redskins, I think maybe you'll see Colt McCoy and a little bit more of their first-team offense. You're hoping you get a better performance out of Dwayne Haskins as you did last week where you had 2 interceptions.
Yeah, that was...
But, Dwayne Haskins is not going to play with the first team. He's going to be playing with a lot of second-team guys. So I think that's what you're looking at in that game.
Yeah, this one, 2 teams that will be in the bottom of the barrel of the regular season. I know the kid from Central didn't play for the Bengals last week. For the Redskins, they need Haskins to play better. I know McCoy didn't even play at all last week, so we'll probably see a little bit. It's a little surprising when they're kind of battling. So it kind of showed me that, man, like right now he may be the definite one because they actually don't want to get him hurt, even though I guess with all the bad luck they had with quarterbacks last year, it doesn't, it makes sense. But hopefully better this week for Haskins. But again, they don't have much of a wide receiver core to help them, especially in the second teamers that you'd be throwing to.
Yeah, I mean, because we're saying their starters at wide receiver are pretty bad. Imagine how bad their second stringers are then at that point if they're not starting on that team. If I'm the Redskins, honestly, I would start Haskins just to see what we can get from the first game. It's preseason week 2. Who cares? I mean, you saw some bright spots from the first game. He made a couple nice, but then you saw some things that it was painful. Like, I understand it's just preseason, but like, good Lord, it's like some of those interceptions were not good. Like, it's not like, you threw it up and made it bounce off a guy's hands and then one interception. No, that was bad throws. Yeah. And all that. And I would just like this, if I'm them, just to see what we can, like what we have with him as a first, some playing with the first stringers and the starters. Like, what is that going to hurt? Because honestly, what I would do, start him then, see what if it is, and if it's right here, 50-50, maybe we'll see at that point, like through like the next week of camp, who ends up, separating themselves and come start and like have them play more preseason week 3. That's what I would do.
We got the Packers heading to Baltimore to face the Ravens, and in this game, Lamar Jackson is going to play because he played 3 series against the Jaguars last week, and the Jaguars had most of their second team guys in. And Aaron Rodgers may or may not play. And I think you will get more ones on the Packers defense to play than they did against the Texans. So that'll be interesting to see Lamar Jackson play against more ones, seeing how he improves as a pocket passer, which he's going to have to do this year. Teams are definitely going to figure out the offense they ran last year. You saw in the first half of that playoff game, Baltimore had that completely. The Chargers had that completely figured out. So I think that you're going to see a lot. You're going to see, I'd say a quarter or a quarter half of Lamar Jackson. We'll see what we see of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well. Rodgers, who knows how much of how much we'll see of Rodgers. Yeah, Jackson last week was 4 for 6 for a 59-yard touchdown. And, of course, he didn't run the ball, which is, of course, smart. So, he should just worry about preseason right now. Just learn to be a pocket passer. Don't run around and scramble right now. So, yeah, I think, we could see a decent amount of Lamar Jackson. They should, They look pretty well against the Jags too. So I don't know, maybe a confidence booster after that AFC divisional game or when the Chargers absolutely shut down their offense.
If I'm the Ravens, I'm just having him, Lamar Jackson, just doing like passes from the pocket. I'm having no design, like read options, no QB runs. Maybe mixing a couple of rollouts and dumping it into the flat, but that's about it for him. I'm not having do any running. Just focus on the pocket passing. We need to see you develop that because that's obviously very important. But stating the obvious, that's important for a quarterback. But if you're the Packers, their secondary, I want to see in terms of corners. If I'm the Packers, I want to start seeing them more because they have a lot of talent at corner. That defense on paper is a very it's a good defense.
They drafted Jari Alexander. They drafted Kevin King. They've drafted a lot of corners the last couple of years. They drafted Darnell Savage in the first round this year.
They got speed in their secondary. Period. You got Amos now. For some reason, the Bears decided to let him go. Bold strategy.
Not great against the pass, good against the run.
Yeah. So you have that, and then you have Savage, who's developmental piece, but he's super athletic. So he can develop into something pretty nice. If I'm them, I want to see. I'm having Rashawn Gary play a whole half, unless for some reason this man's hurt. But I want to see that man play because that's another guy who has freakish athleticism. But in college, maybe didn't he only get 5 sacks, maybe or something like that?
Yeah,
actually, it wasn't a high amount.
He took plays off.
Yeah, and it's I need to see you show me something. I need you earn this spot just because you're a first round pick, a high pick. Show me something. You're not being gifted anything. This is the NFL. This is production based. You earn your contract off that production, not just potential. Show me something. I need to see that because if you have that, that guy can reach his potential with that athleticism and that defense. That's going to be a nice defense. So I need to see something from him.
Yes, the Raiders traveled to Arizona to face the Cardinals. And in the first preseason game for Kyler Murray, he looked pretty good. He was accurate. Knew where to go with the ball. But the issue with the Cardinals, the issue is I think that team around him. David Johnson's definitely their best player on offense. They really don't have, because Larry Fitzgerald is way past his prime.
That O-line
if you saw that third down play, Kyler Murray didn't even have a chance. Yes, the O-line is not as important as it used to be in the NFL because of the new CBA. A lot of quarterbacks are under pressure. But Kyler Murray didn't even have a chance on that third down play. And that could be a huge issue for the Cardinals. That's definitely going to be a huge issue for the Cardinals. They had the worst offensive line last year, and they're on their way to having the worst offensive line this year.
That was the second-string Chargers. That's not even Bosa and Ingram.
Bosa and Ingram didn't play. And that was another argument I got into with the Keys brothers. Bosa and Ingram didn't even play with a horrific offensive line. You're praising Kyler Murray's first outing. You can't be doing that. Come on now.
Yeah, if that was Bosa and Ingram, let's just say a half, he would be wearing them literally as a coat because they'd be on him 24/7, 365.
Yeah. Exactly.
That offensive line is terrible.
And then if you look at the Raiders, they didn't play that many. They did play some starters on defense and because they played Jonathan Abram and Cleveland Ferrell on defense in the preseason game against the Rams. But I think they'll definitely play a lot more of their starters in this game. I think Derek Carr will probably play in this game against the Cardinals, so that'll be something to look for. But yeah, another. I think you'll see Kyler Murray for at least a quarter, maybe into the second quarter.
Yeah, and against I want to see how Cardinals D-line does this week against the Raiders pass rush that is not great either. It's probably, I would say, probably worse than the Chargers second team probably. But I love that Raiders kid Abrams, what he was saying in Hard Knocks last week when Gruden told him to light it. Can
I just hit anything?
Yeah, that's a good sign for the Raiders to have a guy like that. But and to see Murray again, probably not going to see of course, no Antonio Brown or anything. But these are two teams that are probably going to be at the bottom of the barrel again for those standings.
Yeah, with the Raiders, you need to start playing. I want to see Cleveland Ferrell against an offensive line that's obviously not good. I want to see if this man is actually going to be able to get consistent pressure because he should be on this line, unless they're double and triple teaming him all game. But you want to start seeing if Abram can, because Abram can be kind of like a poor man's Cam Chancellor as a rookie in terms of a guy that is fast and can hit very hard. Maybe not the best in coverage, but you can work on that. Obviously to an extent. You got to see that. You want to see if. Maybe if Jacobs, is he going to be giving you something? See how that's going to work out. You can start seeing all these draft picks. Are they going to start panning out? But with the Raiders, other than that, you might see Carr a little bit. Probably not going to see much of Tyrell Williams. Probably none of Antonio Brown until that foot thing, heals up however long that takes, But you got to start seeing something because I feel like Gruden he's trying to form this team for when they go to Vegas.
Yeah.
And he wants to see who needs to cut bait with, who he's keeping.
Peterman played well too last week.
Dude, let's just stop with that. let's just stop.
At this point, Gruden going to be starting.
Going to be working at Circuit City for the Rams. Come on, let's go.
At this point, Gruden going to start that, man. I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's just stop talking about Nate Peter and move on. Bills and Panthers. The Bills last week. Josh Allen played a couple series. Accuracy is an issue with him. He overthrew Zay Jones on first down in the first series, and he underthrew Zay Jones on a third down. Panthers didn't play really any starters this week. I think Cam will play more this week, and we'll definitely see more, at least a quarter of Josh Allen.
Yeah, Allen was not great again. Matt Barkley actually stepped up as the backup role, had 130 yards with a touchdown
against backups. Though,
yeah,
dude.
no.
Come on now.
Again, I think that's a battle for the backup job. Barkley probably helped that out, but
him and what, Tyree Jackson?
Tyree Jackson. The kid from Buffalo. So right near town. Then I liked Christian Wade, the one carry that they gave him. That was a nice touchdown run they had. That was about it. And then for the Colts, I guess it's a battle of maybe who could start. Chad Kelly played decent. He ran for 50 yards and touchdown. Will be Brissett, maybe even, he didn't play a ton last week. He only attempted 5 passes, so maybe it's probably going to be him for the starter, but,
Yeah, I would say with Allen, you need to start seeing him being a little more consistent with the accuracy. I mean, we knew coming in he has a cannon for an arm, probably like a top arm in the game with him and, Mahomes, just in terms of pure throw power. He needs to start developing that accuracy with the wide receiver, start developing that of his game because obviously he can run. We saw that during the year. Saw that play he had against the Vikings defense where he hurdled. It might have been Anthony Barr. We heard
Anthony Barr,
some linebacker, and it was like
it was Anthony Barr.
It was like woo, that athleticism was like, where'd that come from, and all that. But you need to start seeing the actually more consistent. And then I feel like Brian Burns, he kind of showed something in the first game. Again, playing against, who it was, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But it's a thing in the right momentum because you have him, Gerald McCoy, Quan Short come regular season, that pass rush come third down. Yeah, good luck. It's going to be struggle.
Yes, that pass rush should be huge for the Panthers this year. So we got the Bears and the Giants playing on Friday, and obviously Daniel Jones had a great outing in his first preseason game, even though it was against backups. I tried explaining that to Joe and the Keys bros, that it was against they had 3 starters. The Jets had 3 starters in there: Avery Williamson, Quentin Williams. Yes, he was a top 3 pick, and Brandon Copeland.
Daniel Jones for Hall of Fame.
And I think you'll see Eli for at least a quarter this week. Same with Mitch Trubisky. A player to watch for the Bears though, David Montgomery. He looked pretty good last week. Ran the ball well. And he caught balls out of the backfield. That could be a really good 1-2 punch between him and Tack Cohen. That's a big reason why the Bears traded Jordan Howard.
Yeah, that'll be nice. David Mount. Yeah, it'd be nice for the Bears running back. For it was a good trade. It's a good pickup for him. We're probably gonna see Trubisky. I wonder if Jones will get any plays against the Bears first team. I don't know if they. I would be pretty interested to see that. I would hope maybe they do try that a little bit, see how he actually does against the first team. It's probably going to be Eli, though. That's probably going to get the first team reps against the Bears first team. Because that's a pretty good D, too. That would be a good measuring stick maybe for Daniel Jones, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would say I would like to see Daniel Jones for that, just to see again, kind of like what do you have with him? And then I would, if you're him with the Bears with Montgomery, that is nice. Him and Terry Cohen, that's going to be a very annoying duo to go against because they're both not going to, especially with Cohen. Cohen's not going to consistently run a ball down your throat. That was kind of Jordan Howard's job. But he is extremely shifty in a very big nuisance to deal with on the field. He can be like the little gadget play, little touch passes people do, a little like pass on flat, screen passes, that type of stuff. And if you're the Giants, you gotta. I feel like you got to play down just at least, even if it's one drive. Sorry, just see what he's giving you. Because obviously you don't want to, for some reason the Giants don't want to cut bait with Eli. It is what it is. But eventually it's going to have to happen. Just see what you got with Daniel Jones. I mean,
Daniel,
it's the worst part. And then if he gives it to you, maybe play him a little bit more in preseason week 3. If not, just play Eli.
He had all his first team guys in there, especially on the offensive line. You saw the offensive line congratulate him after that first touchdown. Those were all first teamers on the offensive line, and he played against mostly second teamers for the Jets. So we got to definitely see more out of Daniel Jones. Dolphins visit the Bucs in preseason, and Brian Flores still says Ryan Fitzpatrick is the starting quarterback, which does not make sense, but we'll see what happens
and
there.
Real quick with the Dolphins, I had a thing saying that Kenyon Drake left practice early yesterday in a walking boot.
That is not a good sign. You have Ryan Fitzpatrick with no running game. That is not a good sign. And for the Bucs, I thought Jameis Winston looked good in his first series. We'll see how that ends up working out between him and Bruce Arians.
Yeah, we'll probably get a little bit more playing time this week. You'd assume they threw the ball a lot last week. Ryan Griffin threw 43 passes, so you'd see they may be throwing the ball, pass heavy offense right there maybe this year. And then for Miami, that would be a tough loss if they lose Drake for a couple of weeks. They don't have much of a running game. Gaskins had 6 carries for 13 yards. That was really about it for a running game. And then I saw too when we were watching up there that Brian Flores said that
Brian Flores?
Flores said that Josh Rosen, his body language isn't too great right now. So which kind of sounded like was one of his setbacks. So we'll see. Maybe he has a better week, out there. 'Cause he's played okay last week, but wasn't great.
I would just say if you're Dolphins, just start Rosen, see what you have. Again, Fitzpatrick ain't the answer. Just play Rosen, play with the starters, see what you have. If you're the Bucs, this is going to be important. The preseason is going to be important for Jameis because it's going to set in motion. Are you going to have a regular season where your career is going to go up, or are you going to be going down like your career pretty much has? Because if he doesn't have a great regular season this year, he ain't going to be on the Bucs and probably not have that good of a year.
No,
or much of a future with any other team after this. Maybe as a backup. Other than that, he's going to be going as a starter from team to team that are going to be brutal, being like a 1-year rental essentially.
Yeah, he'll be gone if he doesn't have a good year for the Bucs. We'll quickly go through these games. Browns and Colts on Saturday. Maybe you see OBJ and Landry this time, and obviously for the Colts, you're not going to see Andrew Luck.
Yeah, we'll see. For the Colts, Brissett or something. We'll see who gets that kind of job. You'll see. I assume maybe we'll see OBJ and Landry with Baker out there to see what the chemistry's at.
If you're the Colts, obviously Luck ain't playing. If on the Browns, I want to see more Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson, he played pretty good.
You love Mac Wilson.
Well, I just think he's just talented, and the fact that you add that to what this Browns team already is, and you got him 4th, 5th round, which to me is a steal. He played very good week 1. He made 2 nice plays on the interception. So starting to play more, see if he's could potentially become a starter down the line.
Pats and Titans Saturday night. Hopefully, maybe you see Brady, maybe you don't. You'll probably see Mariota because he played week 1. We'll see what ends up happening there.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll see Brady. Usually it's week 3. Usually, I don't know. He may play a series or 2. Usually, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like a drive, that. Maybe a drive. Then he'll maybe play like a half, like week 3. Then maybe in week 4, again, maybe a drive, if that.
Yeah, usually doesn't. But usually they don't play that well in preseason. They destroyed the Lions. So.
Yeah,
pretty surprising.
Yeah, with coming off of the week 1, I liked how Collins, played. He, seemed like he was kind of playing similar to when he originally was with the Pats. I liked N'Keal Harry, although he came a little bit gimpy. I don't know how serious that injury is. He made 2 nice plays, so I'm kind of liking that. Jared Stidham, played pretty nice. So I'm kind of liking that. I want to see some Damon Harris. I want to see what we get. Add depth to that running back.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll see what ends up happening there. Chiefs go to the Steelers this week. Mahomes will probably play at least a quarter. Maybe we'll see Big Ben. Maybe we won't, but I think we'll see Mahomes at least a quarter this week.
Yeah, I assume we'll probably see him a little bit because he played last week. I'd rather see his game in the regular season than preseason, but
you're not wrong.
Yeah. But I wonder, maybe we see a little bit of Big Ben or whatever. But I'm just see who kind of steps up and takes that Juju Smith spot of what he was.
James
last
Washington
year.
had a really good week last week.
Yeah, so it seems like it may be him. But there's another guy.
If I'm a Chiefs fan, what I want to see personally, I'm trying to think. What is his name? The wide receiver they drafted from Georgia, like something Hardman.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see what he's gonna give us because with that offense, you already have Sammy Watkins, Mahomes, obviously Tyreek Hill, and this guy being another speed demon. that could make that offense something that was ridiculous last year even better.
Lions and Texans, neither team played their starters week 1 of the preseason. I think we might be able to see Stafford and Watson for a little bit in week 2.
Yeah, because Tom Savage got hurt last week too, so they were down to just David Foles. The Lions, I wasn't able to watch the Pats line game because I lost power, but I've heard the Lions.
There was nothing good for the Lions.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty bad, and Patricia may be in some trouble. Texans,
yeah.
Let's see how the offense, the first team offensive line. Let's see how they do. Hopefully they improved because they needed to.
If I'm the Texans, I want to see what how Duke Johnson's going to play for us because that's a pretty good pickup for them. I think that's pretty good. The Lions, you gotta just see everyone's playing because the first game against the Patriots that was brutal. You weren't going against many Patriots starters and you got destroyed. I mean, it's preseason for what it's worth, but it ain't great start.
No, Cowboys and Rams. I think we'll see Dak for a quarter, and I think the Rams will play golf this week.
Yeah, they play last week. Dak, let's see if the Cowboys can run the ball a little bit better this week because they could not do it at all last week in San Fran. They really need that just in case they don't have Zeke, which
If I'm the Cowboys, I'm doing a lot of running because I'm trying out every running back we have, even Mike Weber that there, because I think that guy's relatively talented. I'm trying out every running back. All we're doing is running the ball. I want to see running like passes to the running back, running, outside, inside, everything. I want to try that with running back. I want to see what we have just in case Zeke don't come back.
Saints and Chargers. I don't think Drew Brees will play, but I think you'll see Phillip Rivers for a little bit in this game.
Yeah, we'll probably see a little bit of Phillip Rivers. I want to see, for the Chargers too, who kind of steps up, takes that number 1 spot in the running back situation because Melvin Gordon too has what his holdout too. And then for Saints, they probably won't see Breeze or whatever, but you'll get to see
the great Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. I always like Taysom.
Or Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, Teddy.
Yeah, and Taysom Hill's fun to watch.
Yeah.
If I'm the Chargers, I'm gonna try to work Hunter Henry in over preseason. I'm not gonna have him. You're playing every snap. I want to work him in because that receiving core is very nice, and when you add him, he can receive, he can block, he can be a very versatile tight end. You get him back, the team's gonna make this team even better.
Seahawks and Vikings, you'll definitely see Kirk Cousins, great catch by Adam Thielen in week 1, and then you'll probably see Russell Wilson play too.
Yeah, I want to see this first team Vikings often go up against Seattle Z for probably a series or two. You may get to see that, see how Cousins does. Cousins plays well. When it's not a big game, of course, this ain't a big game. Just kind of see, he's improved a little bit, but, I guess we won't really see that till big game this year.
Yeah, I want to see if you're the Seahawks. I want to see a little more Rashard Penny because he had a decent rookie year. It was nothing special. He obviously drafted in the first round. I don't think many people did. See what he's going to give you, but I think overall-wise, you're probably not going to see a lot of the starters.
Lastly, we'll talk about the Niners and the Broncos. Niners, I think, play Garoppolo. I don't know how much they'll play Garoppolo, but I think the Broncos will play Flacco for a quarter.
Yeah, Garoppolo, he's like kind of needs to get some of that rust off. It's been a while since he's played, so maybe this week he gets a series or two. Drew Lock played better last week. We'll see how much more time because now you'll probably get Flacco, for maybe a quarter.
If I'm the Niners, I maybe play Garoppolo a little bit, but not a terrible amount because you want to work him back. If I'm Niners, I want to see some Deebo Samuel because they drafted him. He should be a talented wide receiver that can give him something. The one guy I really want to see if I'm the Niners and Niners fan, I want to see Jerick McKinnon. Remember, they signed that man to a pretty good contract last year, and he got hurt. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't preseason. So he played none of the regular season. I want to see what he's going to give us because if you have him with Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman, you have 3 really good running backs. You got talent.
Yes, definitely. So we're going to wrap the show talking about the NBA schedule, and that got released on Monday. The season starts opening night. Zion and the Pelicans face the defending champions in Toronto, playing the Raptors. The Lakers, Clippers, that's opening night. That's a good opening night. LeBron versus Kawhi. You also want the night before Thanksgiving, you got Kyrie returning to Boston. The Nets play the Celtics. Then you got the same night AD returning to New Orleans. You got with the Lakers facing the Pelicans. On Wednesday, December 11th, you got Kawhi returning to Toronto to face. You got the Clippers and the Raptors. On Christmas Day, you got the Celtics, Raptors, Bucks, Sixers, Rockets, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers again, which is a great matchup. Mm-hmm. Pelicans, Nuggets, Zion versus the Nuggets, and then lastly in January, you got the Rockets, Russell Westbrook going back to OKC. What's your take on the NBA schedule, Justin?
Yeah, it'll be a fun year. It's gonna be very competitive this year.
Parity for days.
Yeah, I know the team with the most miles is Sacramento Kings, so I'm not too happy about that because I feel like we need to take that turn this year, and that doesn't really help with the miles. But it's pretty good. I'm not I guess I shouldn't be surprised that it's gonna be Toronto, like New Orleans opening night. They wanted Zion. I'm not surprised about that.
AD going back to New Orleans, that's gonna be interesting because you want to see what the crowd, how they're gonna feel about that. Plus, you get to see Zion, against the Lakers. Everyone wants to see that. Yeah. And personally, as a Celtics fan, I'm interested to see Kyrie, when Kyrie comes back, because remember before the season they had a little thing with some of the fans where he says, "If you guys want me back, I'll be back. I'll come back." And he gone. Yeah, he's gonna be, because I don't like how the thing went out. Obviously, the season did not go well at the end of it. But I want to see how the fans are going to, because I feel like obviously there's going to be some boos. I want to see if it's going to be like full on, booing him, like hatred towards him, or is it going to be maybe 50-50?
Yes. So that's going to wrap it up this week for Sports Talk with RKJ. For my co-host Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week for our NFL season preview. I hope you guys tune in for that. Have a great weekend, everybody.